Hello dear friends, I'm Teacher Robert. I come back to explain the effect of First World War. If you like this session, I remind you to click subscribe and share so that you may find other sessions. Effect of First World War. Last time we discussed on the causes of First World War, and we find that there are causes like lack of international peacekeeping body, lack of peaceful statesmen, economic competition, and lastly, the immediate cause was Sarajevo instance. So now let's focus on effect of First World War. But before analyzing deeply, let me show you a short video showing how First World War was.
Have avoided a war. We would only have postponed one. By early September, the German army had swept through Belgium and into France. With Berlin believing that its victory was imminent, Chancellor Bethmann Hollweg drew up a list of his country's demands at the peace talks. They included seizing large swathes of land from both France and Russia,
As you can see, it is a war that opposed Triple Entente and Triple Alliance, and they fight seriously. So let's find out the effect of First World War. It can be called also consequences of First World War. Number one, as you know, in every war there is fighting, there is bombing, there is attacks that leads to loss of lives of many people. According to the number of people who died, there are many numbers. That's why I decided not to give numbers, because there are controversial ideas in numbering those who lost their lives during First World War. But what you have to know is that during this war, during the fighting, France and Germany was among the countries that lost many people due to fightings and front that took place in those countries. Some lost their lives due to fighting, others lost their lives due to bad life and starvation in exile, etc. Number next is destruction of property. As you know, while bombing in war, houses, schools, hospitals, office, industries were destroyed by bombs. Some bridges were destroyed. Houses of people were destroyed due to this war, and the destruction of property also led to loss as usual. Number next is disability and casualties. Disability is where someone has one party of his body or more party which are not working properly. It's like casualty. For instance, you lost one of your arms. You lost one of your legs. You have visual impairment or visual difficulties. You have hearing difficulties. All those are disabilities and casualty in general. But casualty return about physical parts of body. During this war, there is starvation. Let me remind you that there is what we call trench war, trench warfare, where people, especially soldiers, fight but in in trenches, and in this trench they faced hard life. There is hardship, there is bad smell, there is rats, there is pollution. All this led to problems of life, and the noise of bombs also led to other problems, including psychological problems that led to what we call shell shock. Refugees. Refugees are the people who migrate due to insecurity from one place to another to find asylum. Refugees during this First World War are many from different countries, from different sides, whether Triple Entente, whether Triple Alliance. People moved from their home and become homeless. And remember, as you become refugee, it led to bad life and starvation. Widow and widowers are another effect of First World War. As you know, while men were on front line, some husbands were killed and the wife remained without husband, and some husband lost their wives. So all these were the effect, and it affect also the society. Orphans is related to loss of life, where children lost their parents who were killed during the war. Children lost their parents, both fathers and mothers. Some children had one parent due to this war, and as you know, orphans go hand in hand with some problems, especially social and economic problems. Famines. Famines, why? Because during this war, no one would go to work. No one would learn business. Everyone wanted to survive, wanted to escape this conflict. No one could take decision of go and do agriculture that would help to find food. So where could they find food? Nowhere, because everyone is in asylum. Everyone had fear. They had no hope for tomorrow. They have no confidence. That's why no one is would be able to go and work for finding foods. Diseases during this war, there are many diseases especially that will come due to pollutions like gases, diseases that come due to noise pollution or noise from bombs, diseases from pollution of their home, like in asylums and in trenches. There is a bad smell that led to disease. And you remember, after this war, there were what we call death. I don't remember very well, but it's a pandemic that took place after First World War due to those factors. And one of the disease that is very well known after First World War is called shell shock. Let's analyze different pictures. As you can see, this is the dead bodies of soldiers, who lost their lives during this war, and they are in trenches like holes that were used by soldiers while fighting. You can see that there is those who will not died, but they have problems. They are casualties. There are disabilities among those people, and they have different disease caused by First World War. This picture shows the casualty. As you can see, their hands were broken, their legs were broken, they are not able to move properly as they used to do. This picture also shows the injured people who were being treated by Red Cross people, and this one maybe was shooted during the war. Different disease. Those are sick people who wait for treatment. They seek for medical treatment due to disease caused by poor life. Destruction of properties. As you can see, this is a building that were destroyed by bombs and attacks during this war. Destruction of property, as it is like on the next picture. This is also caused by, it is a destruction caused by the war. You can see that these soldiers on this picture are using machine gun to shoot. But what I want you to focus is the mask. They wear the mask. They wear mask on their head. This mask would help them to reduce the effect of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. This mask were used to reduce those problems. So this emphasize or show us how during this war there are many diseases. There are other causes, other effect of First World War. I mean, it is the effect, not the causes. Women emancipation, and this is very serious. While men were on war front, women were employed in factories. They worked in factories manufacturing weapons and foods. They worked in shops and office. And after war, the leaders decided to promote women for their contribution that they made during First World War. They showed that they are capable. And this must be also focused in Rwanda. Women emancipation. Girls, ladies, and women, all those female gender must feel confident, must be able to do in every sector, whether in factory, in shops, in offices, in technological aspect. Women, female, girls, you must be confident. Another effect of First World War is Russian Revolution. Maybe it is an era. There is 1917 Russian Revolution, not 14. 1917, or Peasants' Revolution in Russia. This revolution was, as you know, revolution is a fundamental gradual change that took place in the country where they remove something and installing new one. So peasants asked their leader, why should you spend a lot of money in this war while we didn't expect any profit from this war? Why should our children continue to die in First World War while we did not expect anything? So peasants of Russia decided to revolt, hence 1917 Russian Revolution. League of Nations. League of Nations is an international peacekeeping body that was formed after First World War. it's an effect of First World War. Remember, one of the cause of First World War is that there was no international body to stop, to prevent, or to resolve conflict. So immediately in 1920, after war, and remember this war ended in 1918, but the armistice, but after one short period, they decide to establish international peacekeeping body called League of Nations. This was formed to prevent another war. Another effect of First World War is change in government. Change in government. After First World War, some leadership were dethroned due to their weakness in First World War. For instance, after First World War, Mussolini took power in Italy with his party called Fascism, as we will discuss it in the next session. Kaiser William, the King of Germany, were replaced by new King Hindenburg. So all those kings, all those readers were repressed as people accused them the weakness in First World War, so that they should be repressed by the powerful one. Another effect of First World War is the emergence of superpowers. After World War One, countries like USA, countries like Japan emerged as superpowers as they were busy working while others were in war. This is very understandable. While European countries were busy fighting, USA was busy doing in their industries, busy doing agriculture, sponsoring this war, providing food for this war, but all those service and good must be paid back. They gave loans to the country that were fighting. All those loans must be repaid with the high interest rate. All this made these two countries to become superpowers. New states immediately after First World War, during the Versailles Peace Treaty, there are some countries that were formed: Poland, Romania, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia were new countries that were formed. Especially they were formed from German territories. They were formed and granted independence. So it is also an effect of First World War. Another effect is displacement of people. This displacement is like refugee, as I have been explaining before. There is another effect, territorial readjustment. This is an effect of First World War because immediately after First World War, France regained its territory, Alsace and Lorraine, lost during 1870-1871 Franco-Prussian War. German lost all African colonies. Rwanda, as you know, Rwanda was given to Belgium. Burundi were given to Belgium. Togo, Cameroon, Tanganyika were also confiscated from German, and they were given to other superpowers. Another effect is Paris Conference. This is the calling of this conference led to signing of the treaty that is really responsible to stop this war, Versailles Peace Treaty. In Paris Conference, It is where they decide to sign Versailles Peace Treaty, responsible to punish German for its contribution during First World War. Even if this Paris Conference and Versailles Peace Treaty were responsible to the outbreak of Second World War. Another effect is economic depression, economic crisis. It is very understandable after a war. This war destroyed many properties. Industries were destroyed. Roads and bridges were destroyed. Factories, hospitals, schools, churches, infrastructures of different domains were destroyed. And this created an unfavorable climate for investment. Something to underline. A war make an unfavorable climate for investment because no one could try to invest his resources immediately after the war because they had no hope, they had no good expectation for return or for benefit. They feared that they could lost their resources. And it was followed by economic stagnation in Europe, as you know, hence economic depression. This is a picture of people in Europe rejoicing. They were rejoicing after understanding, after listening that there is armistice. Armistice is an agreement that was signed to stop war. After stopping this war, the mass of people, ordinary and powerful people, rejoiced in the city because this First World War was over. Thank you. Before concluding, let me remind you that today we discussed on the effect of First World War. There are many effects like loss of life, destruction of properties, refugees, emergence of superpowers, territorial readjustment, change of government, emancipation of women, and among others. But what I have also to focus is to tell you that every individual in this world must do as well as possible to prevent and stop any sort of conflict that would lead to war. As you see, a war is harmful to the people who fight and harmful to the people on their other side. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe.